Jai Shri Krishna. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, the Son of Droṇa Punished. Here in the verse 6, Sarila Sukadeva Goswami telling that the material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of a devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature which is in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Supreme Truth. So here it is mentioned Ananthopasyamam Sakshad Bhakti Yogam Odhakshaje Bhak Lokasya Janoto Bhavyam Chakre Swatwata Samhitam. It means here the purport is Sarila Vyasadeva saw all the perfect personality of a Godhead. This statement suggests that the complete unit of the personality of a Godhead include his part and parcel also. He saw, therefore, his different energies, namely the internal energy, the migrational energy, marginal energy, and external energy. He also saw his different planetary person and part of a planetary persons, namely his different incarnation also, and he specifically observed the unwanted misery of the conditioned souls who are bewildered by the external energy. And at last he saw the remedial measure of the conditioned soul, namely the process of devotional service. It is a great transcendental science and begins with the process of hearing and chanting the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, name, fame, glories, etc. of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Revival of the dormant affection or love of a Godhead do not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting, but it is slowly and wholly depends on the causeless mercy of Lord. When the Lord is fully satisfied with the sincere effort of the devotee, he may endure him with his loving transcendental service. But even with the prescribed form of hearing and chanting, there is at once mitigation of the supreme superfluous and unwanted misery of a material existence. Such mitigation of a material affection does not wait for development of a transcendental knowledge. Rather, knowledge is depends on a devotional service for the ultimate realization of the supreme truth. So here it is mentioned in the next verse by Sarila Sukadeva Goswami that simply by giving arrival reception to the Vedic literature, the feeling for a loving devotional service to the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts off at once to extinguish the fire of lamentations, illusion, and fearfulness. So here it is mentioned, Yasambhe Sruyamanam Yam Krishne Paramam Puruse Bhaktir Upadhate Pumsah Soka Sokamoho Bhapyavaha. It means here the purport is there are various senses of which the ear is most effective. This sense works even when a man is deep asleep. One can protect himself from the hand of an enemy while awake, but while asleep, one is protected by the ear only. The importance of hearing is mentioned here in connection with attaining the highest perfection of life, namely getting free from the material pangs. Everyone is full of lamentation of every moment. He is after the mirage of illusionary things, and he is always afraid of his supposed enemy. There are the primary symptoms of a material disease, and it is definitely suggested here in that simply by hearing the message of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, one gets attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, and as soon as this is affected, the symptoms of a material disease disappear. Sarila Vyasadeva saw all the perfect personality of a Godhead, and he, in this statement, also all perfect personality of a Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna is clearly confirmed. The the ultimate result of a devotional service is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality. Love is a word which is often used in relations with man and woman, and love is the only word that can be properly used to indicate the relations between Lord Sri Krishna and living entities. The living entities are mentioned as Prakriti in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Gita, and in Sanskrit, Prakriti is a feminine object. The Lord is always prescribed as the Parama Purusha or the supreme male personality. Thus, the affection between the Lord and the living entities is something like like that between the male and the female. Therefore, the term love of Godhead is quite appropriate. Loving devotional service to the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the subject matter heard about him. The Lord is absolute in all respect, and thus there is no difference between him and the subject matter of heard about him. Therefore, hearing about him means immediate contact with him by the process of vibration of the transcendental sound. And the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts at once by removing all material affection mentioned above. As mentioned before, a living entity develops a sort of complexity by material association, and the illusionary engagement of a material body is accepted as actual fact. Under such false complexity, the living being under different category of living of life becomes illusionated, illusioned in different ways. Even in the most developed stage of human life, the same illusion prevails in the form of many schemes and divides the living the loving relation with the Lord, and thereby divide the loving relation between the man and man. By hearing the subject matter of a Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this false complexity of a materialism is removed, and real peace in society beings, which politicians aspire for so eagerly in so many political situations. The politicians want a peaceful situation between man and man and nation and nation. But at the same time, because of too much attachment with for material domination, there is illusion and fearfulness. Therefore, the politician peace conference cannot being about peace in society. It can only be done by hearing the subject matter described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The foolish politician may go on holding peace and summit conference for hundreds of years, but they will fail to achieve success until we reach the stage of re-establishing your lost relation with Lord Sri Krishna. The illusion of accepting the body and as the self will prevail, and thus fearfulness will also prevail. As for the validity of Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are hundreds and thousands of evidence from a revealed scriptures, and there are hundred and thousands of evidence from personal experience of a devotee in various places like Vrindavana, Napadip, and Puri. Even in the Komudi dictionary, The synonyms of Krishna are given as the son of Yashoda and the supreme personality of Godhead, Param Brahma. The conclusion is that simply by hearing the Vedic literature Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, one can have directly connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, and thereby one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly misery, illusion, and fearfulness. These are practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Jai Jagannath, Jai Shri Krishna.